As web page designers, we need to make a choice as to the tools we'll use to create our web pages. As you get started as a website designer, you will likely be either on the Macintosh or PC platform. If you're working on the Mac, the typical tool that you'll use when you get started would be TextEdit, and on the PC, the typical tool you would use would be Notepad. These two tools are text editors. They essentially let you create text without any rich text formatting, such as bold, italics, and underline. With these tools, you get text, and that's about it. For the purposes of creating HTML, plain text is all we need, because HTML is a markup language. That markup language allows us to define what formatting should look like. We don't actually apply the formatting to the HTML markup. The HTML markup defines what the formatting should look like, and the web browser interprets that markup and displays the proper presentation of the page envisioned by you to the viewer. Another type of tool which you will very likely use is what's referred to as a WYSIWYG editor. WYSIWYG is an acronym for What You See is What You Get. WYSIWYG editors let you do everything that a text editor does, but they also have capabilities to create HTML for you, as well as many other proprietary tools that assist in the HTML generation process. In a later chapter, we'll explore Adobe Dreamweaver CS4 in detail. This is a critical point in the learning process for you. The following chapters are structured to help you learn how to do HTML the old-fashioned way. The old-fashioned way being by hand, hand-coded in TextEdit or Notepad. The reason that you want to do this is that learning how to write HTML code by hand, without a WYSIWYG editor doing it for you, at the beginning of your learning process, will put you on a track to future success. One of the reasons why that is that if you were to begin your HTML learning process using a WYSIWYG editor, as many people do, you run the risk of allowing the tool to get out in front of you. I've met many students who have started over their learning of HTML after having used tools like Dreamweaver or Microsoft FrontPage, because the student had learned how to use Dreamweaver or how to use FrontPage and not how to create HTML. That doesn't necessarily sound so dangerous. Why am I saying that that is a point of concern? Let's take a look at Dreamweaver and see what it can do for us and some of the things that we should look out for. I'll launch Dreamweaver by double-clicking on the Dreamweaver icon. If you don't have Dreamweaver, just sit back and watch for a moment. We'll explore Dreamweaver in detail in a later chapter, but just to show you some of the items that we want to look out for, I'll quickly create a new HTML document in Dreamweaver, which looks very similar to the files that you've already been working with. And I'll create some simple HTML, such as a heading, and a paragraph. I'll type the words, "This is text in Dreamweaver," and close the paragraph tag. Now, what you've probably seen before if you've ever used Dreamweaver is the design view. And the design view in Dreamweaver looks very much like every word processor you've ever used. If you look down at the bottom part of the screen, there are formatting controls which likely look familiar, such as bold and italics, bullet points, and numbers. And if you start to type text in this design view, such as "This is text I wrote in Dreamweaver," and switch back to the code view, you'll see that Dreamweaver updated the HTML for you. And if I switch to the split view and switch back to the lower portion of my screen by clicking inside the design pane, hit the return key on my keyboard, and type some more text, I can see that Dreamweaver is creating HTML for me. You might think, hey, this is great, perfect, I don't have to learn how to do HTML at all. Well, you're setting yourself up potentially for some problems. Look at the HTML that Dreamweaver created. For our purposes in this page, doesn't look that bad. But Dreamweaver created paragraph tags for each of these lines because Dreamweaver is trying to guess what HTML you want to be created. By learning HTML, you will make the decisions about how your code is to be treated, not Dreamweaver. Dreamweaver works for you. As you learn, we need to make sure you don't learn how to work for Dreamweaver or another WYSIWYG editor.